What seems really weird to me now is that I never thought about being open about my recovery. I never realized there was a conscious decision to make. I just sort of made it, which is strange. I mean, I remember right at the beginning of getting sober that I remember kind of being at a bar because I had to meet somebody there for some reason, and I said to the bartender, "Oh, I'll have a Diet Coke, I don't drink anymore because I had this terrible Coke problem." And, him kind of nodding, "Okay, here's your Diet Coke." And I just was open about it. Now, I don't know subconsciously what my reasons are for that or have been for that. I do think there is ego. I think that I think it's cool on some level, and I always have, um, which is may or may not be true. I think that I want attention, and I think that I never saw it as something to be ashamed of. Now, I had a lot of shame before. All I felt was shame those years that I was doing coke by myself and all of that. So I think that it was such a relief to not feel shame. And I just started talking. First, I started talking about it. Then I started writing about it. And I remember the very first story that I did was a story for Details magazine about people doing meth in Hollywood. People didn't know back then, it was like 2004, that non-truck drivers, straight successful men did meth. And I didn't talk about my own experience now. I really never did meth, by the way. But it was sort of my first taste of being open about that kind of thing. And I found it so interesting. And some of this is not ego. Some of this is not self-serving. Some of this is that I genuinely believe that if people had been more open about their recovery and about what being sober was like, I would have gotten sober a lot earlier, and I wouldn't have had to get so hopeless before that point. And, my hope with all of this stuff is that people who are wasted in the middle of the night and thinking, "Oh God, I can't take this. Oh my God, should I kill myself?" Well, let me just Google addiction, recovery, rehab, whatever. And they stumble upon stuff like this, and they see that people are talking about it, and they see that people are not ashamed of it, and they see that people are living good, productive, happy lives. And I think that that's worth everything if you can help people like that, and if it feels good, and if you're doing it to get attention. um, we all have a lot of character defects. I'm certainly not doing that on a conscious level, but I never chose to be open about my recovery on any kind of a conscious level. But it sort of feels like the decision was just made for me.